In this video, I'm going to be giving you my honest thoughts regarding the new Christopher Nolan film. It's called Oppenheimer. I'm actually a huge fan of Christopher Nolan. There are some movies that from him that I've rewatched many times: The Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Inception. Huge fan of those films, so I was excited to go see this one. And now I'm going to be asking, is this a masterpiece or a mess? That's what I'm going to be giving you my insights on this film. I have some notes here, so if you see me reading, they're just the notes that I came up with after watching the film. First one is that the opening 30 minutes of this film are super fast-paced. There's a lot of stuff happening to cram in all the biographical facts about the film. Like there's this one scene about an apple, and you see Oppenheimer, he takes a syringe, puts in some poison in the apple so that his lecturer or his professor can eat it, and then later on he changes his mind, and then he goes and smacks the apple out of this guy who wanted to eat it. That was put there. It doesn't affect the plot in any way. It was just put there simply because I'm assuming that's something that Oppenheimer did or is in a biography book somewhere out there about Oppenheimer. This is going to be quite the divisive film because I feel like it's going to be a sort of like historians versus non-historians type film goers type film, meaning that if you had an idea what you were going into while watching this film, if you knew the facts about Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb and all of that stuff, you probably really enjoy this film. But if you went in there expecting this to be like some sort of action flick regarding bombs, you'll be super disappointed. It's a 3-hour film about physics, history and politics, mainly if I was to boil it down. But what surprised me the most about this film is the fact that it's titled Oppenheimer. It's about Oppenheimer as a person, not about the bomb. Christopher Nolan made sure that in the first hour, you saw the background of Oppenheimer and that you got to see his personal life. You got to see especially the fact that there's this character played by Damon. He calls Oppenheimer a womanizer, and you can get to see the women that were in Oppenheimer's life. So I actually like the fact that his personal life is in there. The cast. Jesus Lord, so many faces. You're watching the movie and you're like, oh, I know that guy, oh, I know that guy, oh, I know that face seems, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So many faces, dear Lord. I was so surprised just how many people are in this film. I had an idea that there would be many, but I didn't expect them to be that many recognizable faces. The music score was also pretty good. In fact, there were scenes where when the music kicked in, it really helped me to become engaged into the film. And some scenes, now this is one of the negatives, some scenes passed so fast, and the way it's edited, the scenes, especially in the first hour, the way it moves from one scene to the other, sometimes could be so weird and confusing to me sometimes. It's a very heavy dialogue-driven film, and my favorite characters were the ones played by Cillian Murphy, basically Oppenheimer, Matt Damon, and then Robert Downey Jr. To me, Matt Damon was I liked him more than I liked Robert Downey Jr., but Robert Downey Jr. was pretty good. There's this one woman that Oppenheimer is involved with, and I don't know why, but they kept just having her in unnecessary, it happened twice, they kept having her in unnecessary nude scenes. I don't know why. We get it. We as the audience know that Oppenheimer is in a relationship with this woman. There is no need to constantly see the coconuts. But fine, it happened only twice. I wrote here that sometimes you get lost with the conversations because the conversations sometimes move to these black and white scenes, then back to these colored scenes, like to the past, to the future, to the current time, sometimes I got lost, to be honest with you. There's this one scene where this woman that Oppenheimer is romantically involved with, I think it's the woman that he's cheating on his wife with, I think. She self-deletes and the scene lasts literally like 10 seconds. She self-deletes and then you see Oppenheimer distressed, and then literally the next scene, it cuts to him in a meeting talking about uranium. I was like, why don't the scenes just breathe? Why can't they just breathe for a while so that the audience can really feel? Or maybe if they breathed, the movie would be super long. I don't know. But some of the scenes needed to breathe. They were just happening way too fast. On paper, this movie does what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be historically accurate. It's supposed to be about depicting Oppenheimer and his life, but because of its large cast and its pacing, sometimes you never seem to be fully engaged and to fully care about the characters, in my opinion, because everything is just moving so fast. And there are so many people. Sometimes you're like, who was that again? And who was that again? Is that a political guy or a scientist? Sometimes I was like that. Couldn't help but notice and think about films like Inglourious Bastards, Inception, Interstellar. The reason why I use Inception and Interstellar is because those are also sort of complex-ish films, especially Interstellar has like the quantum physics thing. Inglourious Bastards is a different director, it's Quentin Tarantino, but it's also like a World War II film. And I kept asking myself, really, is there no way this film could have been told? The story could have been delivered in a like much simpler way. I feel like if you had given it to Quentin Tarantino, it would have been delivered in a much simpler way, because Quentin, he knows how to do dialogue well, and he knows how to like guide the audience properly. I don't know, honestly. I felt like the movie was a bit heavy, dense, and intense for a lot of people while watching. The Trinity test, where you get to see the bomb, that one was mind-blowing, pun intended. That was mind-blowingly good. If you're watching it in IMAX, the bigger the screen, the better. That one was really good. I wish it was possible to have done like a reaction video, so you could have seen my reaction to that. I was just in so much shock. After the Trinity test, where you get to see the bomb, the movie actually slows down. I love this one scene where Oppenheimer tells the president that he feels like he has blood on his hands, and President Truman is like, "Yeah, you're gonna take a hanky and wipe your hands." I found that scene to be actually quite funny. Things get better in the third hour, from hour 2 to hour 3. Things get better there. Sometimes I kept wondering why they couldn't have just trimmed down the first hour, because the third hour to me felt much better, in my opinion. I loved the part, especially when Robert expresses his concerns about the bomb, and then they start labeling him an ally of the Soviet Union. And I just found the third act to be more engaging, in my personal opinion. I don't know about you, you can comment below, but I found the third, hour 2 to hour 3, to be more engaging. And I like the way throughout the film they show you Oppenheimer's state of mind, especially like this one scene where after the bomb has been used on Japan, and he's like delivering this speech, and the sound cuts, and you just see the way it's distressing him. I really like that. There was a lot of good stuff in this film, but I feel like some of it was also lost because of just the way the director told the story and the pacing. But all in all, I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. It's really intense. It's not for everyone. It's really long, but I believe that it's much better than Barbie, in my opinion. If you've enjoyed this reaction, you should smash like and subscribe, and leave my reaction for Barbie here. I did not like Barbie, to be honest with you. I prefer this one, despite its length and its issues. But tell me what you thought of Oppenheimer if you've seen it, and then I'll see you in the next one. Peace.